welcome to Pepper Talk. I am Perpetua Fasanmi-Peter. Okay, basically, so today we'll be talking about getting your dream job while you're still at another job. Welcome. If this is your very first time here, please do not forget to subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always returning to my channel. Yes, I'm not alone today. I've got an amazing guest. She's Ife Adeagbo. I mean, she's very good at what she does. She's into HR. She's into business consultancy. She's that person you want to listen to. She's that business coach you want to have on your team. I mean, she's just that person you want to have, that person you want to listen to, especially when it has to do with your business and your company, basically. Well, it's good to have her here. Good morning.
Good morning, Perpetual. It's good to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here with us today. Okay, basically, we're going to be talking about something that I feel is very dear to me. You even have a book about it, like you're writing a book on this topic. So tell us about it.
All right, okay. I think it's how to use the job you hate to build the career that you love. And the concept is just, understanding that having a job is definitely different from building a career. But then there is a way you can use the job you have, whether it's what you love or what you do not love, to build the career that you really want. Okay, so that's just the basic thing. There is always something that we have. When we are clear on what we want, then we can always use what we have to get to where we want. So if you look at the concept of a Google map, for example, the moment you're able to punch your destination, you can actually move on and keep going. And even if at the moment you are in a route that seems to be that you have deflected a little, all you need to do is reroute yourself. So you see your Google map, it just keeps rerouting you till you get to the destination where you're going to. So no matter where you are right now, even if it is a job you really, really hate, like literally hate, you can actually still end up at the career that you want. If you understand the process of building a career, then you will know how exactly to use the job that you might hate to build the career that you love. Yeah, that is it.
All right, thank you so much. So very quickly, let's get into it. What are the things we're supposed to do while we are where we are at the moment?
All right, so while you sent me the topic, I just prepared like 4 things to look at. So, but as a matter of introduction, what I would like to really address is, a lot of times we come up and we say that I hate the job I have. And then we come up with the concept of the fact that there is a job that I love to have. But many times you have no pause to ask, is this the kind of job I should love? There is a job that you love right now and you cannot wait to get. But research has it that most times when people eventually get the job they always wanted, then they go, oh my God, I don't like this anymore. I hate this. And that's because sometimes most of our love for this particular job is based on fantasies and, things that people have portrayed as success. So the first thing is to ask yourself, this job that I think I really love, is it? You cannot have the right job in mind if you have not done number one, if you have not defined what success is to you. So the first thing you need to do to actually clarify the job you should love. So I know there's a job that you love right now that you have in your heart. But my first question is it the job you should love? Now, how do you know if it's the job you should love? The first thing is, have you been able to clarify what success really means to you? So we all have this success meter. There are different ways we measure success. So for someone that is very big on family, that is very big on connection, that is very big on having flexibility, that should be reflected in the kind of job you would love, For someone that is very big on economic empowerment, well, maybe you think that an average person should be, but not everybody is actually. But if you're not careful, you love that job because you think that's going to pay you like the millions. But when you get the millions and it's not really in alignment with how you define success, you're going to go back to hating that same job. So we don't keep going through that cycle of, oh my gosh, I thought I loved this job, now I hate it. You have to clarify your success. All right. You have to clarify your success. And one major thing is to look at your values. What do you really value? What do you want from life? Do not always approach life from the survival and hungry mentality. Just because you are hungry today, because you don't have money, it doesn't mean that all you want from life is money, right? You know, really you have to sit down and ask yourself, if money was not a problem, what really do I want? So you do not base the job you love based on the fact that it's going to bring a lot of pay to the table. That is always going to come if you are doing something that you find very valuable, right? So the first thing is, what's the definition of success? The second thing will be, how fitting is this job to my identity, to my work identity, to the value I can bring to the table. So if because of output, you love a job, have you considered the input that you will have to put to that job to get the output every other person is getting from that same job? You know, so as much as you see so many people successful in a particular company, it doesn't mean everybody there are being paid high. And the difference is in the input they invest. So they get what they put. Sometimes you love the managers that are getting the big money, but if you know how much the manager is putting into that company, you're like, oh my gosh. You know, so you have to consider, just the job that I claim to love and I really want, is it fitting to my identity? Do I have what it takes? Am I wired? Am I structured? Am I competent enough to contribute at a very high level to this job? Because that is when those rewards will come back and feed your feeling of love. So if you think you love something so much and you start putting in, and what you're putting in is not enough to give it back to you the value you deserve, you will soon stop feeling so much love for that thing. So the first thing, like I said, is define your stuff. The second thing is it fitting enough? All right. And I think the last thing, I personally just have a knack for that, because one of my values is growth. Is this job that you claim you love going to grow you? You know, is it going to grow you? So that being said, let me pick the first. So that was just like a foundation, right? That was like a foundation. So the first thing you need to do, or what you can do to transition to the job that you love and you should love, even if what you have right now is what you do not love, is number one, is that job that you do not love, let it help you discover the more what you truly want. All right. So human beings do better by contrast. We understand better by contrast. That's the way it is. So if you want to understand white, it's most likely you will understand it better if I contrast it with black. Do you understand? If you're going to understand primary colors, it's easier to retain it if I contrast it with secondary colors. If I'm going to if you're going to understand darkness, it's very easy for me to make you understand by contrasting it with light. So we get to understand things better when it is contrasted. So right now you are in a job that maybe you literally hate. Can you use that to build a great vision of what you would now love? Because perpetual, most time I've found out that we know what we do not want. Most times we really don't know what we want. So you just think, I hate this job and I want something that I love, but you're not really clear about what you love yet. So why not use this present job that you hate or you do not love to build a big and a great and a detailed picture about what you really want? Because when you build that picture, you literally gravitate that thing into your space. So, you know, I do vision board parties, yeah? It is the concept of sifting into your space what you want, because your brain, one of the explanations and the system behind vision boarding is, which is just literally putting a picture of what you want in front of you, is that it helps. There are billions and billions of information going on in the world, and your brain can only handle as much. So you need something to help you sift what is relevant into your brain. Now, there is a particular part of your brain that does that. It's called the reticular activation system. And that thing in your brain decides what is necessary and useful to you. Now, the way that thing is coded is by what you have fed it with consciously. It now becomes your subconscious system of sifting things into your mind. So when you're not clear what you want, but you're so clear about what you do not want, you will still keep sifting what you do not want into your space. Because that is what is very vivid to your brain right now, right? So now you are in a job that you hate. You will be stuck. That's why most people are stuck in the job they hate for the rest of their lives. Because they never transition to using what they hate to really land in their mind what they love. So the first thing you can do to help transition yourself is to start here. And how to start here is to use what you now hate to distill what you really love. Ask yourself the question, why do I hate this job so much? Maybe it's the culture there that is not aligning with your values. Then you begin to ask yourself, so what are the values that I really want in a job? What maybe it's the work environment you really do not like. Then begin to ask yourself, what kind of work environment would I prefer? Then build that picture so much that it becomes more real to you than the one that you are in now that you really hate, right? And then, trust me, it begins to sift into your space. The first thing that I know is a sign that you have transitioned is that the job you really hate does not really affect you so much any longer. Because now you have built another empire in your mind. You have built another job in your mind. That other job is so real right now that you're like, I'm out of here. And you now begin to function. Now, this is the foundation that helps you with the other three things I have to share. Do I continue with the three or you want to say something about it?
Just go ahead.
All right. So the second thing, when you have established the first thing, is that you need to use this job right now that you not really love to build skills and attitude for the job that you now love.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there isn't, we get better in stringent conditions. We actually stretch better when it's not so comfortable. There isn't actually growth in the comfort zone. So if you are in a discomforting zone right now because of that job, one way you can use that job to grow you is to use that job to help you gain skills and attitudes that you will now need in the next job. The truth is, let me say it this way. You attract what you have become. The greatest disservice a job you hate is doing to you right now is that it's making you disconnected from work. They are two different things. You have a job that you do not like right now, but the greatest disservice it is doing to you is that it's disconnecting you from working. So you feel, I hate this place, I don't like this place. So you're not putting effort to work. Work is generating value. You cannot generate value when you're not skillful, all right? So the more skillful you are, the more value you're able to generate, and the more you will be promoted. It's just natural. So if you hate a job, you're most likely disconnected. And that means you will not get promoted to the job. So what you need to do to yourself is let this discomfort help you develop skills and attitude that you need for a job. So I was in a place one time and somebody was saying, you know what I've learned most about this job? I've learned how not to run my own business. Honestly, there's so many things to pick up as skills in a discomforting environment, in a place where you really feel like, one of the skills you learn in a job that you hate is called emotional intelligence. Because now you hate this job, literally. It doesn't make you happy, but you have to still produce. You have to still deliver. And it means you are learning to be emotionally intelligent. you are aware of your emotions and all, and you're able to still put it together in such a way that it doesn't disturb you from giving value. That emotional intelligence you are gaining right now, you need it for the job that you love. In fact, sometimes some people, they manage themselves so well with the job they do not like that becomes the attractive force for their next boss. Because, bosses know one another, and they know how some of their colleagues are very hard to please. And then they notice this lady that has been able to still pull through with this man that every one of them know that is a very important. And then you become attracted to them as a talent. Because they're wondering, how are you able to do this job that you do? So if you do not love a job and there is one that you love, use this particular job to build the skills and the right attitude. It means if you can maintain the right attitude in a job that you hate, trust me, the job that you love is going to be a piece of meal for you. You're going to excel exceedingly in that other place. That's not what they say when they say Africans get to the UK. I mean, they just ace things because they have really survived in harsh conditions, right? So be conscious. What do I hate about this job? How can I use that to build my skills? What skills do I need right now for the next level that I can use this job to build? The third one is let this job that you do not love help you expand your network to connect. So, if you hate a job, as long as it is a job, you are better than someone that is staying at home. I say that with every sense of responsibility. It is true. I would rather you are in a job, as long as it's not that it is a job that is affecting your character. You can always ride on the wings of an institution to build network that you will never be able to build when you're on your own. I don't know people that are listening to me, but if you are younger, you're listening to me, not buy into this. I want to just start on my own early. I don't have time to build another man's business. I don't have time to build another man's dream. Hello? Build their dreams if yours will ever be built. Because the truth is, you are leveraging on that man's platform. He has registered his company, and you can take that company name and access any other company because you are a recognized entity. Instead of saying, hello, my name is Ife, and I was like, excuse me, who knows you? But if you say, my name is Ife, and I am the secretary or the executive assistant to this Kineko company, now I'm going to listen to you. Better than I would have listened to you if you just said your name is Ife and like, hey, so who are you? That is what you do not know. No matter the trait of the job, it is a job, and it has given you the leverage to network. You can walk into any place in the name of an organization and have access than you would ever have if you were going in your personal name. So what can you do with a job you do not love? Come on, use it to build something that you will always love, which is called social capital. Use it to ferociously network. Find reasons to go into other companies in the name of your company. Propose projects that make you meet people of value, people of high net worth. If your boss is not thinking about that, suggest it to him. If he shuts it down, do it behind him, in quote. Do good things. No boss is not interested in more clients, right? Whether they are good bosses or they are bad bosses, they want more money. So I don't need to tell you that I want to make more money for you. But the truth is, while I'm trying to make money for you, I am building my own network. And in that network is the job you love. So use the job you literally hate to build the one you love by using it to access quality network. Because nobody's going to shut you down when you come in the name of the company. And finally, please and please, use the job you hate or you do not love to build a career brand that you love. All right? I mean, that's my message right now. Build a brand. I've always said this over time. Build a brand. And building a brand means building a perception about yourself. a perception that makes people believe that you're a person of value. Whatever position they have given you in that place of work, do it well. You know, I said this is based on the first foundation. Do it well because you've discovered who you are. You've discovered what you love. Find a link between what you're doing now and what you really want to do, and begin to build a brand in that light. What is your simplest way to build a brand? Storytelling. Okay? Storytelling is one of your best ways to build a brand. How do you build a brand through storytelling if what you do is sit on the couch and eat potatoes? There's no story to tell. But every time you pick your butt off that chair and you go to work in the morning, you have a story to tell about your career, about how valuable you are, about how useful you are. You have a story to tell. You have thoughts to give. The fact that you moved, even if you don't have a car, the fact that you moved from your house and you took a cab and then there are so many stories on that line. That journey alone in itself has so many stories there. You will see the conductor, you will see the man that did something, you can pick a lesson from it and share and say, as I was on my way to work this morning, I saw this and this and this. And this is what it tells me. You are building a brand. People now know you that you're somebody that is going to work. And let me finish with that. Let me round that up with this. Especially on LinkedIn, people get jobs that are already in jobs. That is the way it goes. It's hard to get a job straight out from your house, but it's easier to get a job when you are in an existing job, because even recruiters are looking for people to poach. They're looking for people to get, and they're not looking for job seekers. They're looking for experts. Hello, I recruit. I'm not looking for a job seeker. I'm looking for somebody that can add value to me. And the only way you can prove to me you can add value to my company is because you already adding value to an existing company. So you better stay in a job that you hate, building a good brand, and showing the world that you're a valuable person so that they can come to you and say, you know what, I think we have a better position for you to showcase this value and add better value. And then you can now transition. So it's easier to transition from a job you hate to a job you love than transitioning from no job to the job that you love through branding. Let me stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ife Adeagbo, for all the thoughts you've shared with us today. You know, I couldn't even ask you questions, but because I just felt, no, that's how I feel. I mean, there's no point asking any question. It's really those very thoughts. And I think we have a lot of takeaways from this conversation, especially when you talked about building character, building attitude. And I think that's very important. Emotional intelligence, these things are important. I mean, these are things you don't want to start building all over again when you probably eventually get to that place you want. And then all of a sudden, because truth is, there's something about habits. There's something about something you keep doing. It becomes natural with you. It becomes one with you. You don't have to force yourself to do those things. It's just normal. But if you've had to play down on all that before, now you're in a new system, you want to start all over again, it's going to be difficult. There'll be friction.
Exactly.
Why don't you continue being that amazing staff you've always been, irrespective of the fact that you probably don't like one or two things about that place? And I like where you started from talking about doing a check. Are you sure you actually do not like this place, or is there something you're not seeing well? Is there something you're not doing well? So you need to sit back, take a seat and ask yourself, okay, maybe it's your perception. Maybe it's just some things you really need to deal with. Now, I'm going to share this story. I remember I have a dear friend. She got a job, and 2 weeks later, she was tired. She was saying, she wants to quit. She would prefer to do this or that. For me, I was like, okay, if you want to quit. But my husband had to ask questions. Okay, why don't you like this job again? What happened? And eventually we discovered that she was having an issue with the boss. And then my husband was like, okay, so what you need to understand is maybe you've said something somewhere that makes your boss think you're not the serious type. And that is why each time anything comes up, she comes to you as if you're the one who's responsible for everything. You need to change that mentality. You need to let her understand that no, you're not someone who doesn't want to work. You're ready to work. And fast forward, she's in love with the job now. It just took somebody to be able to help her check it again and understand that it's not like you don't like this job. It's just that your boss is giving you a difficult time. And it's not as if your boss doesn't like you. you gave an impression, you said something, or you reacted some way. And because of that, she just took that perception of you. It's in your hand. I mean, it's you're the one who is going to change that perception. And that exactly was what she did. And today, everybody is happy. So I totally understand when you were saying all of those things. I do know that I guess you've said a lot already, but if there is anything you'd like to share, I would deeply appreciate it. Seriously. Anything else you just want to say before we wrap up the conversation today?
Okay, well, I'll just say that I think it's always eventually boiling down to your attitude. The right attitude always wins. And like she said, most times it's the boss. So yes, let me just drop in that the boss you're working with is more important than the office you're working at. So if you have an amazing boss, or maybe the money is not so right, or maybe a few other things, maybe the staff and all, it's still something you could really gain a lot from. You have a great boss. So always watch out for boss versus money or something, because when you work with good people, it kind of rubs up on you. And good people have great people around them. You always have the opportunity to access the great people that they have around them when you work with them. So always check out. So if your boss is really, really bad, then I think it's a very important check, because if someone is very bad, they begin to rub off on you, you know. But like you said, sometimes it's just that we give a negative vibe at some point that caused some issues. So I think attitude is key. Another important thing is to recognize the fact that your job is not necessarily your work. As long as your job is allowing you to exceed some level of your work, you are good, because you're going to get better. You need to grow. Please prioritize growth. Prioritize growth. Anywhere you find yourself, prioritize growth. And I love self-education because it means I'm not dependent on anybody to grow. I can decide by myself how far I want to go. So if I am hired as an executive assistant, I want to ask you, how many certifications have you gone through that that is related to being an executive assistant? If you haven't given yourself that, mandate to do it for yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because you see a lot of people say, this company, they're not training us. Then you train yourself. Train yourself. It is about you. It's about your career. You cannot allow that job to be destroying your career. And so prioritize growth in building your career. No matter the job you find yourself, prioritize growth. And no matter the job you find yourself, prioritize your visibility. It is your responsibility to be visible with what you do. Sometimes also, people don't get good feedback and good reward from their place of work because nobody can see the value they are bringing to the table. So you need to work on yourself through growth to make yourself more valuable. But then when you're valuable, please let it be visible that you're valuable. Give suggestions. When there are staff meetings, prepare the points you are going to say today. If there aren't no points, prepare the questions you're going to ask. Do not leave a meeting without leaving your voice. It is not okay. Ask a question, because there should be. If they're rounding up the meeting without a question, raise up your hand and say, please, can I ask a question? Always let your voice be heard wherever you are. Bring suggestions to the table. Write proposals. Write concept notes. If you write 10, you'll pick one. If you write 10 of those, they will pick one day. But the thing is, they're taking a mental note of how productive and how valuable you are. But even if you are that valuable but not visible, nobody's going to know. It will shock you that it is even from within that job that you do not love that somebody's going to recommend you for something that you love. Because now they've been able to realize what your strengths are. And they know that, well, maybe this lady is not really the best for us here. She will do better at this other place. And they can actually refer you. So let your awesomeness always shine through. Be valuable, invest in growth to become more valuable, but also be visible with whatever value that you have. And know that not being visible is being selfish, actually. Because you have something to move the company forward and you're not voicing it. It is selfish and it's not going to help you get better. So be valuable, and then be visible. Do not hide your light under the table. Shiny, shiny, shiny. All right, let me just end there.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Ife Adeagbo. I had a great time listening to you as always. Well, if you're listening to her for the very first time, oh my gosh, where have you been? But it's okay. Now you know her, so you go follow her on LinkedIn, follow her everywhere. Don't worry, check the description. You get to see how to connect with her. And I must say that you will learn a lot, especially if she coaches you. That's something I'm very sure about. My listeners, when I was in Ibadan, really benefited from her. I mean, each time she came on air, I was sure people were going to have a great time listening to her. And I also had a great time listening to her. I bet you having a wonderful time listening to her already. So thank you so much for watching. Well, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe. Thank you.
Bye.
And if this is your very first time here, don't forget, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. That's where you'll be the first to know when I upload a new content. Still have a wonderful time with family, friends, and loved ones. Bye for now. I am Perpetua Fasanmi-Peter.